Good morning, everyone. It's the end of another week at City Hall, and I want to review a few things with you as we move through the weekend, and then obviously give you some information about the week to come. As the temperature begins to drop and the cold weather starts to settle in, I want to remind everyone who may be eligible for heating assistance that applications for heat assistance can be made by an appointment. Applications are taken at the Duke Center. They started on Friday, October 26th, and will run through January. Appointments are taken from 10 in the morning until noon. So please call 286-4859, 286-4859 to schedule an appointment so that if you need some assistance in meeting your heating bills, if you're eligible and you qualify, especially as this weather starts to get colder, you can get that assistance. As you know, some additional information has come out on the administration of vaccines. We're waiting for further clarification, but it appears as though vaccines will now be made available for individuals 5 years to 11 years old. As more information becomes available, we'll make sure that we get that out to everyone. That should be starting, relatively soon. So please stay tuned for more and additional information. This week will conclude the leaf pickup in the DeVoe area. And starting next week, please, if you live on Cayuga Island or in the far eastern portion of LaSalle, this is the week coming up that leaves will be picked up in your area. On November 8th, we are expecting to celebrate the border opening for Canadians to come into the United States. Right now, we are working to see if we can streamline the process. As you know, when the U.S. government opened the border, the simple requirements were that individuals coming into the country would need to be fully vaccinated and to provide proof of their vaccination status. Currently, heading into Canada, there are a series of additional requirements in order to enter, which could make it difficult for those coming into the States to then have to return back to Canada. So we're working very closely. Conversations are going on between the two federal governments to see if we can streamline that process. We will be taking part in a discussion Monday with our Congressmember Brian Higgins, who's been a great advocate for simplifying the movement of people across the northern border. We appreciate his advocacy. I know that he sits on a congressional committee solely focused on these border crossings. So again, I'll be participating with the congressman in a discussion about how that can and should be simplified and streamlined. But we certainly welcome the opportunity to welcome our Canadian friends and family back into the area with the opening of the border on November 8th. Lastly, conversations continue to be had about the proposal for an event center and adventure park here in the city of Niagara Falls. I would ask everyone, if you have not yet taken a look at the proposal and the plan, it is posted on the city's website. And then next, I would ask you to please advocate for it with state and or federal officials. Send emails, let them hear your voice. This is really a project that is for all of the city as well as for all of the county. The County of Niagara has no center, has no facility for events such as those that would be planned for an event center that's placed here in the city of Niagara Falls. We recall that in 2003, when the current conference center was proposed, the governor told us then that it was a temporary facility and that at a future point, the city of Niagara Falls would once again regain a facility with the capacity to host larger events. Well, we're 18 years after that and haven't seen that happen yet. So I know many of you join me in saying now's the time for that. And so I'm going to ask for all of you to join in the advocacy for this Event Center and Adventure Park. I think it is a great opportunity for families as well as for the hospitality industry to make better use of the full year down in the downtown area. So many of our local residents, so many of you talk about how the downtown area doesn't attract you to come down there. And those of us who are old enough to remember the former convention center, it was a center for activity, whether they were concerts or other sporting events, but there was always something going on down there. And so as the governor promised 18 years ago, we're looking for the fulfillment of that promise. So again, continue along with me in pushing for that because I think that it's necessary, it's certainly appropriate, and again, it's the fulfillment of a promise that was made to us almost 20 years ago. Again, as I started off today, the colder weather is coming. Please, everyone, be careful with these colder temperatures. If you have friends or relatives who are senior citizens, please make sure that you check on them to make sure that everything is okay. I'd ask everyone to please, if you haven't yet been vaccinated, please make sure that you go out and receive your vaccine. Booster shots are now available. Please make sure that if you're eligible for one of those, that you get that as well. The only way for us to get past all of this change in our lifestyle is to really take it upon ourselves to do the right thing by ourselves, by our family, and for our friends. So I ask you to please be mindful of all the public health requirements. Make sure that you stay healthy and keep yourself well. And until I talk with you again next week, have a great weekend.